Welcome along to episode 814 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. Coming up on the show this week, we'll be talking about the Walls Literature Festival as we hear about input from Walls Film Festival from Aaron Kapoor and also a poetry event he's got going on too. Bryony Marshall will let us know what's going on with Behind the Scenes, an event taking place in the Art Gallery. We'll then also be finding out about some shows at the Grand Theatre. Carl McGregor let us know about Rendezvous, which is taking place on the 1st of Feb. And then from the 3rd, we've got Hairspray in the city and Solomon Davey, a former Codsall resident and Wolverhampton born and bred, will be along to let us know about his role of Link Larkin. We'll be joined by Hayley Quinn as we find out about relationships and how talking about your mental health can be a green flag rather than red one. Dr. Emily McDonough is along to talk about how we can make it a mushroom moment and enjoy some fantastic food with the help of some vitamin D, which is loaded into those there mushrooms. We'll be hearing from Vicky Billings of Riviera Travel as we find out how you can get away and enjoy your time surrounded by water, and that'll be good for your mental health too. Plus, we'll be talking about the Smiley Charity Film Awards and how you can vote in this year's competition. That's all on the way on the show this week.
Welcome to the Milk Bar. 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 Welcome to the Milk Bar.
Now, Hairspray is at the Grand Theatre from the 3rd of February right the way through to the 8th, and it's going to be an amazing time with some fantastic songs and a good message too. To tell us more about his part in the show, Solomon Davey, who's travelled from Codsall High to Patterson Park High, who joins me now. Hello, sir.
Hi, Jason. How you doing?
I'm good. I hope we're finding you well and loving your time out on the road.
Yes, sir, absolutely. We're in Aberdeen right now.
Wow. Okay, that's a bit of a trek. You're finding yourself here, there, and everywhere, all over the country. So, give us a bit of your background before we start talking about your character.
Okay, so I grew up in Wolverhampton, sort of outskirts of Wolverhampton. I have danced pretty much all my life. I started going to like a local ballet school at about 2 when my sister was a part of it, and I wanted to join in because every time I'd go with my mom to pick her up, I'd dance on the side, and they said if he's potty trained he can join, and I was potty trained, so I joined. So yeah, from 2 I was dancing every Saturday at a local school in Wolves, and just grew up always being that like kid performer, and sort of branched out into other dance styles, and then later on around sort of 10, 11, singing and acting as well. So then, yeah, I always grew up doing it. And when I was 15, 16, we did Legally Blonde at Bilston Operatics, which was like the local operatic school. And I loved that. And I sort of always wanted to go into it in the back of my head. But I think that sort of affirmed to me that I wanted to give musical theatre a go, particularly acting and singing as well as dance as well. So then I went to a college for it at 16 out of Wolves. I moved out of my parents' home. And yeah, went to do it full time at college. And then when I was finishing up in college, I started a 4th year, which was like an extra year, as sort of a bridge into the industry where you could audition and train at the same time. And during that, I was auditioning through the school agent, and I was lucky enough to get seen for Grease in the West End, and somehow went from being seen for sort of, ensemble, first time the casting director had ever sort of seen me, to like being considered for one of the leads, and then eventually getting Kaniki, which was like an absolute dream come true. And I was, blown away by it. So yeah, now I'm finding myself here doing it every day professionally, being in multiple shows, which is like literally my dream. So yeah.
Well, absolutely fantastic. And clearly you've got some talent, otherwise this would not happen. So that's a good sign. But I mean, that we've covered 19 out of your 21 years on the planet with that little sort of resume. So I mean, that's basically your spotlight profile. But I mean, you're now rocking it in Hairspray.
Yeah, baby.
So Link Larkin.
Yes, Link Larkin. His character, it's funny actually, when I shout out RSM Stage Academy, Richard S. Meredith. It's one of the schools I used to go to from about 10-ish to about 14, I think, that roughly.
You'll make Richard feel old. Be careful. Come on.
I used to sing the Link songs for like the auditions we used to do there. It was just another Saturday school, but it was more based around musical theatre. And yeah, I used to sing Lady's Choice, which is actually not in the musical version. It's in the film. Zac Efron sings it in the film. It's a great tune, but I used to sing that for all my auditions. So yeah, growing up, I always had a bit of like link inside me, I guess. And then yeah, when this came around, I knew during Greece that the tour was coming around, and I really wanted to be in for it. And then I was really busy with a job called Clueless that I did earlier in the year, and I was lucky enough to be able to tape for it in the busyness of that job. They let me do a tape. I did all the scenes and the songs, and yeah, the casting director was the same casting director as Grease, so was able to land the part off of that, which was, you know, incredible, and felt so blessed to be given that responsibility with Link, and felt like a big, you know, full circle moment because I'd been singing the songs since I was 12. Link is an interesting character. He's very different to the character I played previously in Grease. He's a lot more straight cut, or at least he is at the start. He's sort of trying to appear as very, I guess you could say, like media friendly in the show. And I think when he meets Tracy, that all sort of gets dismantled because he realizes where his morals lie and where his actual motives are for the better of, you know, the society, rather than just, and the people around him and the culture, rather than just himself and his own motives to be a singer, a famous, you know, recording artist. So he's an interesting character. He really goes on a nice journey through the piece. So
amazing songs. It's just a phenomenal musical, and you know, people will be coming to see this for, you know, the umpteenth time when they come and see it, and there'll be new people too who'll be completely drawn into the magic that is Hairspray. And obviously, a big part of this for you is obviously your own hair. And is the style of your hair exactly how you would want it normally yourself at the moment? I mean, obviously, it always changes by part. That's kind of work from Greece, and probably going to stay with you for a little while longer.
yeah, it's funny with the hair thing. It always seems to be quite a thing, especially with the parts I play for some reason. Yeah, it's all right at the moment. This isn't exactly how I have it in the show. It's a bit more 60s-esque, a bit more Elvis-y, you could say. But yeah, I don't mind. It's part of the job, innit?
So have slightly longer hair that's malleable. Let's say it's got to act for you. It's got its own equity card, hasn't it?
There you go. Yeah. It's got its own personality and everything.
So the one thing I will approach here is the fact that you're very well spoken for somebody who's grown up in our area. Is this something that I'm hoping by the end of our chat you'll slip back into talking as badly as I do?
I was waiting for that one. Yeah, I thought that might come up. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I moved out at 16. I'm not from town. I'm from sort of outskirts, but I definitely have watched videos since leaving at 16, and my voice has changed quite a lot. There's no real explanation for it, to be honest. It sort of just slips away. But yeah, I think when I get around, particularly my dad, when my dad's sort of my dad's works in Bilston. He's like a you know, proper craftsman. I feel like when he slips into his work voice is the same as when I slip into my home voice. It just, the twang comes out, but every now and then.
That's going to be something because you're going to be heading to Baltimore in the accent in the show. So again, it probably starts easier from the flat place you are now to where you've got to get to.
Yeah, that's the thing. You want to sort of have a bit more of a neutral palette, I guess, to work off. And if you've got a big yam accent, it's not as malleable.
Okay, so we know you've been singing the songs from the show for years. Actually, songs that are in the show and not the ones that are just in the film. What's your favorite moment that you get to sing?
Oh, that's a
On the
hard
spot.
one. I think Without Love is probably the favorite of mine. It's a great song. I think that's the one that I'd listen to sort of just for fun, like out of any of them. I mean, they're all great tunes, but yeah, Without Love is a great one, and the fact that I get to sing it well is a privilege. So yeah.
And favorite moments in the show itself?
Favorite moment in the show. There's too many, man.
Well, you're also trying to avoid offending anybody because it's a moment you spend with one of your colleagues.
Yeah, for sure. I think the end of It Takes Two is quite a good moment. I think there's some great moments. Run and Tell That is great. Reese Richards, shout out Reese, who plays Seaweed. That's a showstopper. Yeah.
And because part of the fun is that you get to share your travels on the likes of Instagram and such. And is that something you enjoy doing? Have you now built up a fan base of people following you up and down the country?
Yeah, a little bit. I was lucky enough to get quite a lot of exposure on when I did Grease, and then again now on Hairspray. funny enough, it's a lot of the time it's other people recording you in the bows that go so viral instead of you sort of vlogging your way around. But yeah, I love like interacting with the fans and people at stage door and stuff. Always so happy to be there. Just the buzz after the show is lovely. So yeah, I'm grateful for anyone that supports me online, offline, in person, wherever.
Well, I reckon you deserve an Instagram takeover of the Wolves Grand account whilst you're back in the city during the time of the run. That'd be cool to do.
Has to be done, right?
I think so. Right. So the important things are tickets, grandtheatre.co.uk. Grab them there. 01902 429212 is the box office number. Those dates again are the 3rd through to the 8th of February. There is limited availability on some shows already because it is such a big show. So get in there fast, grab your tickets, and make sure you support one of our own doing his thing as he plays yet another person with big hair and a funny accent from halfway around the world. Solomon Davey, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Jason. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
The wonderful, the amazing, the Bridie Marshall of this world is doing a thing as part of the Literature Festival in Wolverhampton. It all goes on Saturday, the 1st of February, and it's behind the seams. She's here to tell us more, including an interesting outfit, which you can't see on the radio.
I've got a great outfit for radio. It's a crochet cardigan.
There we go. For those who can't see what's going on. Okay, so explain more what you're up to here and the pun, please.
So this will be my 3rd appearance at Wolverhampton Literature Festival. So I want to do something a little bit different. So instead of just going and talking about my books, which are an amazing achievement, I'm going to go a little bit more behind the scenes, or behind the scenes, if you will. My books focus around crafting and romance. So obviously I wanted to bring that idea of my crafts to life. So I'll be displaying a lot of my crafts whilst simultaneously doing an author event.
Oh, okay. And will you also explain to people how to find love whilst using half a foot of yarn?
Basically, yeah, that was novel 1, yeah.
Oh, looking good. So it's going to be an experience for anybody who comes along. And this is for crafters of all levels to come along and get a few tips, and also people that like books too.
Yes, definitely. I've got a little bit of a catwalk going on at the beginning. A little bit different for the Lit Fest this year. Definitely colourful and definitely bright, so you can come and see what I can get up to and what I can do. I'm definitely no expert by any means in any of these crafts. I've just picked it up and given it a good go. But yeah, so come along. Yeah, it's going to be fun. My publisher's going to be there, which is going to be amazing as well. It's her first time at the Lit Fest, and her first time in Wolverhampton actually, so I wanted to make her feel really welcome.
Make it busy. And
yeah.
And it's 4 o'clock in the making space, which is in the art gallery. So just follow the signs, get to the art gallery. What you could do, you could have like a piece of wall to follow, couldn't you? That would be good if that were allowed, as long as it's not a health and safety issue. Yeah, that would be fun. But don't have it unraveling someone's jumper for when you get there, because that would be a smidgen awkward. But when it comes down to the look of the show and what people can see, what have you got in store? What's the detail of the events behind the scenes at Behind the Seams?
So like I said, I've got a colourful array of crochet projects on display that will be there from the moment that we kick off.
But what though? Come on, give us a few hints. I mean, it's not all exciting to...
This is one of them. I'm modelling one of them now. So my crochet card I've got on now, it will be. I've got some blankets that I've done that are going to be modelled like a superhero cape, because that's a little hint to the front cover of my newest novel, Hooked.
Yeah.
Literally recreating. This catwalk is the end of my newest novel, so I'm recreating the ending to my newest novel in the flesh, which is going to be amazing.
Okay, so that's a bit of a teaser, so people have got to read it to understand what's going on.
Yes, definitely. And then I will be answering questions. I'll be talking about myself and how I've gone on my author journey and how my crafts have kind of intertwined with my author journey along the way, and how that's quite helps the two kind of mould together. I'll be talking a bit more detail about that. And I am still currently just about taking questions from my followers. So if anyone's got a burning question, you've just about got time to submit that as well.
Okay. And you're going to cover more off on the online crochet superstar moniker as well, aren't you?
Yes, that's what the newest book's about. It's about the online crochet community, the good and the ugly as well, which is
really
interesting. Yeah,
those who use the wrong sort of needles or whatever. What do you call it?
How much hate you get for that? No.
It's intriguing. I want to see what happens. I want it's 4 o'clock, as we say, and it's a pay what you feel event. So you can pay nothing and on your ticket, and then make a donation when you're there. You can pay whatever you feel like, and then sit in the corner and just crochet if you want to. No one's going to sneer.
Absolutely. The more crafters, the better. That'd be brilliant. That'd be like a flash mob, like a flash mob of crocheters. That'd be brilliant.
I wonder what the term for that would be. There's got to be a name we can come up with. Sticking together flash and crochet. It's almost a crash mob, isn't it?
Yeah. Or you could call ourselves a granny mob. We can own that.
Yeah.
We can own that. Yeah.
It'll work somehow. It's going to be awesome, isn't it?
It is. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be bright. It's going to be bold. And hopefully going to be loud as well. That's what I'm hoping for.
Loud crochet in the museum.
That's the one. That's the one.
You can do loud knitting because you can get those big sticks and rattle them together. But it's slightly harder if you've just got the one needly thing that's hooking wool.
It's not the one. I have got a pair of those somewhere. I should have bought them. Along. I have got a pair of those somewhere. Those really big ones.
That would be fantastic. You can knit fishing nets with them, can't you? So we're heading to wolvesliteratureFestival.co.uk to get yourself booked up. The event you're looking for is Behind the Seams. The name behind that event is the amazing author, 3 times, and the crafting connoisseur, including a bit of crochet. It is Bryony Marshall. So that's how we find you. And then, you never know, come along, buy a few books, do some craft.
Yes, 100. That's perfect. That sounds amazing. Nail on the head.
Job done. Bryony, always good to speak to you. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful time with your wool and beyond, and I'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Saturday, the 1st of February, sees what is now an annual amazing night of entertainment at the Grand Theatre in Wolverhampton. It is Rendezvous. Carl McGregor, the man behind the music, bringing it together, bringing his friends and colleagues to the stage. He's with me now. How are you doing, sir?
That has got to be one of the best build-up I've ever heard, mate.
God, it's Rendezvous. It's one of the best nights out in our city, if not the best. Come on.
The best. Absolutely the best. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Rendezvous at the Grand Theatre, 1st of February.
You never know what you're going to get. I mean, you guaranteed Project 21 and a load of people who are just absolutely awesome musicians, singers, and it's just going to be a true night of the ultimate mixture of soul, Motown, disco. It is just the ultimate night out.
It is. It is. I mean, I've got to tell you, we had a we did it for the first time at the Grand Theatre, but the history of Rendezvous goes way back to 2003.
I remember the start of it.
Yeah, that's right. We started it at Wolverhampton Wanderers Football Club. There was
in the Terrace Bar?
At the Terrace Bar, which was part of the Stan Cullis stand.
Yeah, it was the old Cullis, yeah.
The old Stan Cullis stand. March 2003. We just had a ball. We got the finest musicians together, which is my band, Project 21. Great lineup of musicians and singers. And we also had Beverly Knight turn up as well to help us launch it. It made the front page of the Express and Star as well, which was just quite a bit. It was a bit disconcerting because I wasn't expecting it. Just walked into a newsagent to buy a stick of chewing gum or something, and there was me, Beverly, and singer-songwriter Chris Eaton on the front page of the Express and Star. It was weird.
But I mean, all hugely talented people. I mean, Chris Eaton's an absolute fantastic fella, and the work that he's done over the years, Beverly, it goes without saying. And I think the work that you've done across our city, not only in your own performing, but also in all that you've done in teaching too, and the way you've helped share the amazing message of music, you deserve your plaudits for that.
Oh, thanks so much, mate. You know what? I've just had a real love for where I come from, for Wolverhampton, and I've been playing and working in music for 45 years, over 45 years.
That's not possible.
Uh,
You're only 36, aren't you?
I like you. Yeah, I'm all right, mate. You're all right. I'm only 40 years old actually, but
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah. So and I've been privileged to work with so many different artists over the years. Gospel singers, gospel artists, some well-renowned artists, some very well-known mainstream artists. I sat down the other day and I worked out. I thought I just counted how, because you don't take stock of how what you've done over the. You just move from one project to another. And then when I thought about it, I thought I've worked with about 8 different Grammy Award winning artists since 1979 when I did my first tour.
Hmm.
And thought, wow, so and you go to different parts of the world. You go to, I remember going to Istanbul and doing some gigs in Istanbul. And one of the nights I wore a wolf's top, and someone came over to me and said, "Wolves," couldn't speak English very well. "Wolverhampton Wanderers." And I thought, wow. And, I was like proud of where I come from. So when you come back home and you see not a lot going on in terms of live music, which was what happened to me. And I thought,
Hmm.
it's time to do something about that and, try and get live music on the map. Just like, live music is synonymous with places like Liverpool with the Beatles and London, obviously, with Ronnie Scott's and some famous live music venues. And the crazy guy in me said, "Well, why can't that be Wolverhampton?"
Absolutely, and you
Um,
bring it to life. And I mean, even down to not only your actual full live performances, but just wowing audiences when you're one man, a microphone, and a backing track, and you've done that in places just to bring music to life, and somewhere like Wolverhampton Racecourse or various other
yeah,
venues across our
yeah, yeah,
region. From small scale up to playing to 30,000 plus people, and I don't know,
yeah,
West Park or something. You've been there, you've done that, and because that's not your biggest gig. I mean, you've done more than that.
yeah. Oh, mate, thanks. Mate, you know what? It's I always say God has been good to me. Really, it's been a blessing because and I think one of the things that I'm really proud of as well. I mean, you alluded to it earlier, is the fact that I've been able to mentor young people and teach young people, give them a chance, give them a spot on some of my shows, and that's been really good. Now we've got, for this particular show coming up, we've got a young lady that I've in my band who's I've mentored her since she was since well, I've known her since she was a baby. I played at her christening service when she was a baby. Um, Now, I mean, she's in her 20s and she's just fantastic. And she happens to be Beverly Knight's niece.
Mm.
Um, so it's great when you can see young people come up and start to do stuff by themselves, and you
Mhm.
can bring them in on your show. and
And then
and
this is Sophie Ann, isn't it?
Sophie Ann,
We
yeah,
need to name check her because she is awesome, and I've heard her
she's
work, and she's
amazing.
phenomenal. And you've
She's
have you got
amazing.
Dayton Gray joining you on the night as well?
And we've got Dead and Grey, who I've also known since he was a baby. I also played at his his dedication, his christening service as well. So I've known him. His parents are friends of mine. So yeah, um, Dayton is just he's just superb, and
Well,
he's got a great
when I've
following
seen,
as well.
well, yeah, understandably, and when I've seen his work, I mean, I saw him on We Can See Your Voice on BBC One, one of their
Yes,
pandemic game shows. It's just great to
Yeah.
see someone from our area again representing and playing a huge part and just showing off how well they can sing.
Yeah, it's great. It really is. It really is great. And we're not finished yet. We're hoping to get a really, really good night together for the first of February. But at the Grand Theatre, that we staged it at the Grand last January the 20th of last year, just over a year ago. And the response that we got was just amazing. We had nearly 1,000 people there,
Yeah, well,
and we're nearly
you're on
we
limited availability already for the 1st of February.
yeah, we're nearly at that number now. And there's still, well, just under 2 weeks to go, just a week and a half. So yeah, it's going to be great. The atmosphere is just so incredible. We did songs like from the very, very first song that we did, we opened up with Night to Remember by the Shalimar.
Mm-hmm.
And the audience was singing so loudly. I've never heard anything like it. It was it's
Well,
incredible.
Well, I mean, you will be an incredible night. It's the ultimate soul disco and a bit of Motown. Everything you could hope for in an evening, as well as the best performers you could hope to see. And it's going to be
Yeah,
truly awesome. Grandtheatre.co.uk to get your tickets. 01902 429212 is the box office number. Get in there fast. Get some seats. Get ready for an amazing night. Make sure
yeah. We've
you
also
are prepared.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, mate. And also to the guys, the musicians in the band are crazy musicians who've played with the best. We've got one of the guys who's a really good mate of mine. He plays for the Jacksons. He tours with the Jackson brothers in the summer, and he's just toured with everybody. Westlife, um, the loads of them, loads of people. Beverly herself as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's gonna be a really, really, really good night. Really good
It
night.
is. You see Rendezvous, Karma Project 21 on any poster for any gig. Make sure you're getting tickets for it. That's my advice to you. Carl, it's
Oh,
always pleasure to speak to you. Have a fantastic time on the night. You say break a leg to actors. I think to you, I'll say break a drumstick and we'll have a good time.
I always break drumsticks, mate. I always break drumsticks all the time. But yeah, it gives me great pleasure to break a drumstick.
You have a good, I'll see you soon.
Cheers, Jason. Cheers, pal.
Now, the Wolverhampton Literature Festival is back from the 31st of January through to the 2nd of February. It wouldn't be the same if Aaron Kapoor wasn't involved, and he's got events on both the 1st and the 2nd. He's here now to tell me more. How are you doing, sir?
How you doing, Jason? Happy New Year. We still could say Happy New Year,
I
I
think we're
think.
allowed till the end of January at least. And
Yeah.
we got a Happy New Literature Festival on the way. And on the Saturday, you've got an amazing poetry event.
Yes. So it's called the Power of Poetry. And so what it is, so it's a poetry event, but it's within a theatre environment. So the idea of this event that I'm putting on, it incorporates poetry using like theatre space, sound, visual, audios, props, as a way to sort of bring out the performance of each act. And what I'm doing with this event is I'm giving the freedom to each performer to do what they want. So if they want something on the screen, they want certain sounds, they want smoke. They're essentially producing their own slot, not necessarily just performing it.
So you got this poetry with actions.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me. They might even have a bit of music playing in the background, that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I've got some acts who are musicians as well, so they will incorporate their own music into their performance as well.
And where did you find this wide variety of acts?
I tested this idea out last year through a
Mhm.
commission, and we ran through it and we said, let's try again. We got commissioned this year again. And then, so it's headlined by Coventry's own poet laureate, John Bernard, and we will be announcing some of the open micers, who are a mixture of people from Wolverhampton and the surrounding area.
So talent across the board, where they're from, They will explain, no doubt, as they go along, because they'll no doubt have influenced their work too. But the fact that they've got can be even more creative with it is fantastic. So, how long do they get each?
So the open micers will get about minimum 5 minutes, may go a little bit more, but in that 5 minutes, they will be able to recite about 2, 3 poems. But as I mentioned, they get to produce however they want it to look. It's not just standing there with a mic and just speaking or performing. It's a whole ambient experience, however they want to put it to us as an audience.
Okay, so have you got your full lineup, or can people still get in touch?
So currently they are all confirmed, and we'll be announcing them very shortly. But if people did want to get in touch to be on a waiting list, they're more than welcome.
Okay, so how do they do that bit, and where will you be announcing your full list?
So it will be going through my social media page, aka Instagram.
And what handle are we looking for?
The handle is Aaron Kapoor 0303.
There we go. That gives us a clue to something, I'm absolutely sure. However, that's the thing. So the venue is?
The Arena Theatre.
So how do you book for this one, and how does costing work?
Costing is at £7, and you can get tickets via the Wolverhampton Literature official website.
Okay, so that's wolvesliteraturefestival.co.uk. Grab them via the website, click the links on there. You're looking for the event at the Arena. And what is the title once more?
The Power of Poetry.
So you'll be experiencing the full-on power of poetry. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Okay, so, but we wouldn't be complete if there wasn't a link in to the Wolverhampton Film Festival at the Wolverhampton Literature Festival, because literature inspires film, film inspires literature, and therefore it's a perfect combination of the two sort of wonderful art forms.
100%. It always goes hand in hand, and we're always grateful to be back. So what we're doing with this year, as we tend to do, is we're going to be showcasing all the award winners from our previous year. So that's a mixture of like best short film, best music video, best documentary, best animation, best overall film. And at the same time, we're going to be premiering an unseen short film that I've produced with my production team.
Right.
And New Line Films and Pushmina Blue. And also a music video, which I can't disclose yet, but will be official on the day.
Okay, so you've got to be there to see this. This is for the people who attend the event. And how does this one work? And once again, where are we looking to see this?
Again, official tickets are on the website officially. And in terms of ticket prices, it is literally pay as you wish. So You can pay €0, a couple of quid. It's entirely up to you.
Could you pay €0 to start off with and then chuck a couple of quid in the bucket when you get there?
If you wish to, yeah.
That's the thing. Okay. So if you enjoy it, which you're going to, then even if you were feeling stingy beforehand, you can actually make sure you put your hand in your pocket.
100%. We'll leave a bucket on the side.
That's the way. Okay, so that's all looking good. And the full details of the film lineup on that can be found via the film festival website?
So the lineup will be announced on our official Wolverhampton Film Festival Instagram page.
Oh, you love your Instagram, don't you?
Do you know what? I've utilized Instagram in the past year or so. I was a dinosaur before, and I have found that it's working so far. So I've just sort of ran with it.
You mostly put pictures of your wax moustache on there, don't you? Really, that's what's going on.
The wax moustache will make an appearance on those 2 days as well.
And you can probably hang film listings off it as well, but that's a whole other story.
That's a whole different story.
Okay, so wolvesliteraturefestival.co.uk. The title of that we are looking for is
Wolverhampton Film Festival.
So look for that in there. And the venue.
The Arena Theatre again.
There we go. It's all good. We've got the whole, we've got the gen, we've got the lowdown, we know what's happening, so we can be there and be part of it.
That's it. And if anyone has got any questions, you can get in touch with me on my personal account.
Okay, once again, Aaron Kapoor, 0303, that's what you're looking for. And all those amazing pictures of everything that goes on in his world. It's a crazy place to be, I am absolutely sure. Aaron, it's always a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you for joining us. Keep up the good work. Keep putting the city on the map in the world of film and beyond. And have a brilliant time at the Wolves Literature Festival.co.uk this year.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you for your time.
Now, we're in the midst of January, one of the most miserable months of the year, both weather-wise and financially too. However, we tend to feel a little bit rough generally in this time of year, possibly due to our dropping vitamin D levels. Somebody who can tell us how to help things out is Dr. Emily McDonough, wellness advocate and medical professional. Good afternoon.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Good to have you along. And so January isn't the happiest time of year, is it?
No, I think you're right. A lot of people do find that January is a difficult month. There's, sort of the post-Christmas blues. There's financial, it's financially a difficult month as well. And it's just dark and dingy and the weather's not always fantastic. So I think it can just feel quite a long and difficult month for sure.
And we often feel then a little bit low, not only because of that, but also because, say, things like we're not getting our usual levels of vitamin D as we do from sunlight over the summer months, which is obviously going to knock our immune system about just when there's nasty coughs, colds, and flu viruses going around.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really what I wanted to kind of talk about today is the fact that you can make some small changes to your lifestyle that can make a really big difference in these sort of difficult months. So, simple things for me, like trying to get outdoors a little bit each day, but, taking a walk, spending time with the family or people that you love, but also your diet. And I think diet's sometimes forgotten when it comes to kind of thinking about your well-being. Trying to get your 5 fruit and veg in a day. And one particularly that I wanted to talk about today is mushrooms. And I think a lot of people don't realise how fantastically nutritionally diverse mushrooms are. They've got folate, B vitamins, selenium, but also vitamin D. So if mushrooms are UV treated, they contain vitamin D. And I think a lot of people don't actually know that, how wonderfully nutritional mushrooms are. So definitely consider getting them in your diet this January.
Yeah, because something like the chestnut mushrooms contains so much vitamin D, it just sits there like a vitamin D machine, doesn't it? It's one of the really good ones.
Yeah, so I think it's part of the sort of production process of the mushrooms. If they UV treat them while they're in production, that the mushrooms then can synthesize their own vitamin D. So then when you eat them, you're then taking on that vitamin D. So it's very, very clever. Mushrooms are amazing like that. In fact, there was a recent study done by European Mushrooms, and they found about 41% of people weren't aware of how nutritionally diverse mushrooms are. But they said another quarter found that their mood was improved and they had enhanced energy after changing their diet. So I think sometimes, especially in January, if the budget's a little bit tight, it doesn't necessarily need to be, an expensive gym membership or, gourmet food. It can just be simple changes to your diet that can make a big difference.
Yeah, well, I was out at work on Saturday night and my lot decided they're having bacon sandwiches. I got some mushrooms in, some big flat ones, chopped them up, microwave them just so they were nice, toasty and soft. And that way you're retaining all the goodness. You're not frying them, which is obviously bad for you. So you're actually enjoying some brilliant mushrooms on a bacon sandwich.
Yeah,
the yin and yang of food.
Yeah, and they're so diverse. They are actually, they're my favourite mushroom, my favourite vegetable, sorry. So, you can have them for breakfast, you can put them on salads, you can have them, raw as well, kind of sprinkled on top of things. But for kids as well, if your kids aren't a fan, you can kind of chop them up really small and put them in things like spaghetti bolognese. And they're just so nice, so flavoursome. I'm a big mushroom fan, as you can tell.
but it adds texture too, doesn't it? I think that's the other important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, you're just getting all those vitamins and nutrients kind of hidden in there. So especially for kids as well, absolute winner for sure.
And how does it work in your family? I mean, are you the only mushroom lover or do Peter and the kids love them as well?
No, we're a mushroom loving family. As I said, I absolutely love them, but no, we all love them and try and sneak them in, a few more extra vegetables in with the kids. Luckily, my kids are pretty good with veggies. I think I started them off young, so they're actually fine with their vegetables.
But it's amazing how a mushroom can improve your mood.
Yeah, I think it's about kind of those wider changes to the diet. As I said, trying to make small changes to your lifestyle, but also to your diet. And the science does show that there is a link between your diet and what you eat and your lifestyle in general and your mood and your mental health even. So, it is important to get it right. I think sometimes it can feel overwhelming, all this pressure that I've got to do this right, I've got to exercise, I've got to, all the things that we're meant to be doing. But as I said, kind of making those small changes at first can just make it feel a little bit less overwhelming, I think.
Yeah, and so try and get yourself through the winter months and do it in the best way possible. And we all battle on, but these simple changes can make a huge difference. And it's about not only feeling good because you've been eating the right things, but feeling good whilst you're eating the right things too. And it's making that food enjoyable. And again, this clearly for you and your family is exactly how it works.
Yeah, I try to. I think it's about keeping it fun as well. I try and make different recipes and keep the kids involved with it. And, it's, as you said earlier, it's, not the most fun time of year always. So just trying to get those little things that you enjoy doing. And even just, a bit of family time, a bit of me time. It's all important. They're trying to make us feel a bit better.
And I'm sure European Mushrooms have got a few recipe tips for us too, haven't they?
Absolutely. They've got recipe tips on their website, makeitamushroommoment.com.
Oh, I love
Also,
that.
yeah, and the NHS website as well has got great information on just generally, healthy lifestyle in general.
Give that a go and see how it introduces mushrooms into your, even if it's not something you eat normally. Yeah, a pack of flat mushrooms or even some chestnut ones, it's normally around £1, isn't it? So you've got
Yep.
a great start to a meal, and it's good volume too, so it fills you up in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. They're low fat, high in protein, and as you said, not expensive. They're very budget friendly, definitely.
I'll give that one a go. Once again, what was that web address?
Makeitamushroommoment.com.
And can we find you eating mushrooms on your Insta?
Absolutely. Actually, loads of my recipes have got mushrooms in. My favorite mushroom recipe is a mushroom stroganoff. That's my absolute favorite. But I've got loads of mushroom recipes.
We'll check that out. Emily Madonna, we're looking for on Insta. Dr. Emily Madonna, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. That was great. Thank you.
Now, the week started with Blue Monday. However, it doesn't have to be a completely blue January, unless that is you're looking out at the glorious view of some water. Water can help refresh our minds, and solo travel for people around the waterways of the world is actually increasing. To tell us more about how we make the most of it, I'm joined now by a water travel expert. I didn't know there was such a thing. It is. Vicky Billing is here with me from Riviera Travel. How you doing?
Hi, Jason. Yes, I'm very well. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. So we want to get away from the struggles of our relationships, the fact that it's the stress and loneliness in January. Let's turn our world upside down and enjoy what naturally brings our species to life, the joy of being next to the water.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, who doesn't? Who doesn't want to be, next to the water? But when you look at how do holidays by water contribute to improving, mental health and well-being, well, I don't know if you know or not, but there was a research that shows that being around water can improve your mood. So a study of around 20,000 people found that individuals were happiest when they were in blue spaces, such as rivers, lakes, or oceans. And if you think about it, we spend the first 9 months of our life surrounded by it. So no wonder we feel a unique sense of peace when we're close to water. And
Absolutely.
I honestly think there's something quite therapeutic about the water, whether you're swimming in it or sailing in it. But there's nothing better really than sailing down a European river. So whether you're on the Rhine, the Danube, the Douro, when you sail down it, it's good for the soul. And I say this because the pace of a river cruise is quite wonderful. And look, take me personally, I have a very busy life, so I feel like I'm constantly on a hamster wheel, juggling work, juggling home, a 3-year-old. So when I get a chance to go on one of our river cruises, it's pure heaven. I mean, I'm imagining it now, if I'm honest, drink in hand, whether that be a cuppa or a cocktail, whatever works for you, but sitting on the sun deck, just watching the world go by with the most spectacular scenery is quite wonderful. And you do feel like you connect with the destination. And I know, that's really, really important for my own well-being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so with water itself, whether it be, as you mentioned, if it's the seaside, it's the rolling waves. If it's the river, it's the lapping of the water against the riverbank that can make the difference, or the sound of it moving as the boat or the ship travels through it. You've got all sorts of amazing architecture by rivers, or brilliant greenery. You're going to get a treat on the eye, whether you do enjoy a bit of building work that's left over from the centuries gone by, or whether you're enjoying the nature that is around us.
I mean, I mentioned earlier about pace, and honestly, I can't stress this point enough. It's so relaxing, but there's lots of options to do things. So whether you're on one of the excursions, which are usually included in the price, or you're reading a book on the lounge, or you're having afternoon tea. I mean, don't even get me started on the food, Jason. It's literally one of my favourite things about holidays, and particularly river cruises. Again, all good for the soul, but not great on the waistline. That's the only thing I'll say. The food.
Yeah, well, you can get a bit of exercise walking the deck, can't you? That's
on the excursions, and yeah, you can walk around, and there's definitely things that you can do to help, and healthy choices as well.
Mm-hmm. But you may want to indulge yourself, and particularly when we do see people going out as solo travellers, they may be going for a food experience as well as seeing the scenery. And with 78% of solo travellers being women as well, it's interesting how this demographic makes up the marketplace. But you don't have to go solo on a river cruise, do you?
No, it's up to you. You can go solo or you can travel on with friends, on your own, family, whatever you want to do. And look, it's an interesting fact there, 70%, 78% of solo travellers in 2024 women. And we're very safe to travel with. And look, we're an award-winning brand. Our accolades give reassurance to our consumers. And look, we continue to evolve our solo program because of demand. There's been so much demand for river cruises. We've actually added dedicated solo river cruises as well. So, you know, there's been a time when you would get stung really for solo supplements, etc., where now we don't do that. We have those dedicated sailings, but there's so much choice on the rivers or touring holidays, whatever you want to do.
When it comes to travel on the rivers, these river cruises, how do they start off? Do you often fly to your destination?
Yeah, you fly to the destination, or you could get the Eurostar if you wanted to do one of our French rivers. You fly to the destination, everything's taken care of, and the tour manager meets you at the airport, takes you to the ship. Again, very, very easy. They'll take your luggage to your cabin. Usually when you first walk on, there's a bit of music playing. You can sit yourself down, a little bit of afternoon tea, glass of wine, cup of tea, whatever you fancy, totally at your own pace, and then you'll go to your cabin, unpack, and then just chill out. And this is the thing with river cruising, you're right in the heart of the destination, so you can go off and do your own thing, or you can do the excursions, or you can just sit and relax. It's wonderful. And like you said, being on that river and that water, it gives you that sense of connection.
And is it something you get indoor and so external facing cabins as well, or how does it work?
Yeah, there's lots of different options. You've got when you say an inside cabin, in all honesty, even our lower deck cabins have a window across the top. So you can still see out a little bit, but then we have like French balconies, and you can just pull the window doors across, and you just sat there, and it's like you sat on a balcony. Or we have our suites as well, where you've got an actual balcony. So it depends on people's prices and costs, what budgets they've got really.
And also what they enjoy, because some people may not want to have that sort of access, but do want to be able to sit on deck with next to you, probably with a cosmopolitan in hand.
I don't know if people would want to sit next to me, but I'm sure they definitely want to taste one of our drinks. But yeah, absolutely. It's about whatever you want to do. You don't spend a lot of time in your cabin, but there's so many beautiful spaces on our ships, and we've got a modern fleet. We've got all of our ships are wonderful, and we've got new ships coming for next year as well. And look, I don't know if you've ever done a river cruise yourself, Jason. Have you done one?
I haven't, but I'm open to invite. If you want me to come and do the show from one of your river cruises, let me know.
Absolutely, Jason. You know, like I said, we're award winning. We won an award for Best River Cruise last week at the Globe Travel Weekly Awards, which was just amazing. And we're Which recommended. So definitely get yourself on one, because they're just fantastic.
All right, we'll talk after this. However, if everybody wants to find out how they can enjoy themselves on a river cruise, whether they be solo travellers just trying to beat those January blues, or whether they're looking for their break in the glorious sunshine across the rivers of the south of France, what do they do?
Look, the best thing to do, well, you've got a few options. As everything today, there's lots of different booking options. And look, let me just tell you as well, January, this is not a sales pitch, by the way. January, I've worked in the industry 30 years. It's the number one booking month. People have Christmas. They want to get over Christmas, whether that's stressful, whether they've had a lovely Christmas, relaxing Christmas, whatever. You want a sense of purpose, and people want to book a holiday in January. And there's some great deals going around as well. So definitely have a little look. So go onto our website, riviera.co.uk, or we work really, really closely with the travel agent community. So call into your local travel agent, and they're the experts in our product as well. Just take a look though. There's so many different options. It makes me excited. I've already booked my holiday because I had, kind of the January blues, and yesterday was Blue Monday, and very much, it's important to have a holiday and a sense of purpose. And I need to healthy eat for my holiday in advance of all the food, Jason.
You have to plan these things, because you're not going to. When you're on that ship, you are going to indulge yourself in all that's available.
My Beachbody days have gone, let's be clear, but I still need to lose a few pounds, ready to take on the amount of food that I'm going to be having. But again, that's my choice. I don't have to be having 4 courses for breakfast, do I? That's absolutely my choice.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, but there is something for everybody there. You can, you can enjoy a healthy nouvelle cuisine style diet, or you can maybe go for a little more on the potato fritters, whatever it happens to be that the chef has cooked up that night.
Yeah, definitely. And look, we have a lot of, we have the local foods on board and local wines, so whichever area that you're in, so of the European river. But then there's also your classic favourites as well: steaks, chicken, salmon. I'm starting to feel really hungry now because I'm talking.
You're making me hungry too. Will you
Please
stop
get me
it?
your food, Jason. Your favourite subject. I'm river cruising.
Remind us where you can find all the details on Riviera Travel.
Yes, go on to rivieratravel.co.uk or call into your local travel agent, and they are an expert on our product and they can help you with everything that you need.
Well, water travel expert, possibly budding food writer as well. Somebody enjoys her time by the water. Vicky Billing, thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much, Jason. Take care.
Now, the Charity Film Awards are back for 2025, and the chance to recognise the brilliant work being done by charities to highlight their own stories by telling that as some of the users of their services. To tell us more about how we can get involved and the amazing moving movies we can see, I'm joined now by Simon Burton, co-founder of the Smiley Charity Film Awards. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, Jason. How are you?
All good here, and obviously it can be heart-wrenching seeing some of these stories. I know that one of the tales that we heard last year was from a couple in Wolverhampton, and they were really bearing their soul to help the charity that had helped them. And this is really what it's about. It's about the people, isn't it? It's very much an engagement of those who are charity service users.
That's true, but I wouldn't want any of the listeners to think that this is a collection of sub-stories. I always think that one of the most fascinating things about the Smiley Charity Film Awards is the smile component, is that these are stories that are full of positivity and hope and inspiration and no little humour. That's not to say, of course, there aren't some absolutely heart-wrenching stories, but at the end of all of them, there is a ray of hope of how we as communities can make a difference.
Yeah, because I mean, it is very much, this is the story, this is what's gone so well because of this charity. And whilst, yes, there may be losses along the way, and there's the reason in every area of life, it's still the support that's been given. And it's about the amazing things that, whether it be the charity volunteers, their fundraisers do, or whether, somebody is involved in the charity for the first time, having never realized they would need to use them, and then go on to do something amazing to help support others.
That's absolutely right. I saw a film, I don't recall the charity, there were 500 films this year, so it can be quite difficult to retain that detail, but it was about a young disabled child who was gifted a kind of once-in-a-lifetime experience, and he was so moved by it, he went on to fundraise himself to fund 18 other kids to have the same experience. Something just humbling stuff that makes you want to get involved. But at the same time, we'll have something like the British Hedgehog Preservation Society. You didn't think we were going to talk about hedgehogs today, did we? But their amazing film is about how you could make your garden hedgehog friendly. The really simple things we could do. Or Tom Daly in a video about diving to make sure you don't drink and dive. The breadth of cause and the breadth of ways in which these stories are told is one of the things that really marks this campaign out as special.
Absolutely. And I think for its 8th outing, it's again another chance to allow charities to shine and smile. And obviously, there's a lot of them across the board, but they're split into different groups, aren't they? Because you're looking at each range. Because obviously, a small local charity with 2 or 3 volunteers may put a video out, but they're not going to have necessarily the same graphics as somebody who's got a bigger charity that serves thousands.
Right, absolutely right. So, of course, we have the household names taking part: NSPCC, RSPCA, Cancer UK, Alzheimer's Research, and British Heart Foundation. But actually, where the real spark of joy can come from in Charity Film Awards is small local charities who compete for public votes with other small charities. Everyone's put in their own little bucket that represents the kind of size of charity. And some of those stories and the creative way those are told is really what makes it such a heartwarming campaign.
And what we need to say thank you to you for is being behind charities getting awareness for the work that they've done. Whereas they may have shared some of these videos online already, actually you're taking them to a much wider audience. And just by talking about it now, we could make a difference to a charity anywhere in the UK.
That's exactly right. And I don't thank you, but I don't deserve any thanks. And my thanks is in watching the people take part, double their views. So the average film for the average charity taking part will double the number of views it had. And over the course of the 8 editions of the awards, we have added tens of billions of views to the charities taking part. And of course, those views then translate into volunteers, into donations, and sometimes just into changing someone's attitude towards the cause. I think that's often underestimated, that watching a film about people in adversity can change your mind about how you face adversity yourself and the adversity that they're facing.
And of course, there's the people's choice. So not only will the judges take part and have their say, but everybody else does too.
Right, and of course the professional judges tend to have very precise criteria about how good the film looks and the storytelling and whether it's got a twist in the tail. But the people's choice is always about what cause moves me, who do I want to help. It's much more that kind of passion of engagement. And it's one of the great things about the campaign is your listeners can go to the website, they can search based on any criteria they want. So if they want to search for films about football or sport or music or learning disabilities or care for the elderly or donkeys or whatever it might be, and they'll find a film that satisfies their cause and they can look at it and go, that's brilliant. And nothing else is required at that point except the act of voting.
Simple as that. Where do we go to do that?
www.smileycharityfilmawards.com.
Simple as that, and you can be part of it. And just going along and watching is enough to let them know somebody is out there appreciating their work. That's the starting point. Anything you can do upwards from that, it just makes a difference. And say being recognised in the awards will help raise their profile even further. Just being part of it is an absolutely amazing tick in the box for any charity. And of course, you're helping others through a simple click.
And I promise you, Jason, you'll feel better having done it. That's the amazing thing. There's this preconception that these films are going to make you sad. On the contrary, they're going to tug at your heartstrings. Do not get me wrong, but they are going to fill you with a sense of purpose and a desire to make the world a better place, because there are people out there making it a better place.
And you never know, you might find a charity that either is able to help you or you're able to support. That's the amazing thing.
Exactly.
So let's do it. Give us that web address one more time.
www.smileycharityfilmawards.com.
Simon Burton, co-founder of the Smiley Charity Film Awards. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jason.
Now, 75% of singles see discussions around mental health as a bit of a green flag in dating. Previously, we might have seen it the other way around. Somebody who can tell us more is the amazing Hayley Quinn, who is basically our relationship expert. How are you doing?
I'm really doing great. Thank you very much for having me. So yes, this research has all come out by dating app Match, who's partnered with mental health company Calm. And just as you said, part of the research showed that 68% of us 2 years ago would never have dreamed of discussing our mental health. Now that has all changed, and actually people seem to be really valuing having meaningful conversations, opening up and being vulnerable.
Yeah, being bluntly though, I mean, you know what you're getting into if you've talked about somebody's mental health. If they have concerns, you can either know whether you're in a right place to support them yourselves or whether this could mean the relationship's not for you.
Yeah, I think everything is a filter. And I also think mental health is something that's so ubiquitous. I think so many of us have mental health struggles, and I guess there's so much of a greater degree of awareness around that when you start sharing about it, it actually feels quite relatable, and gives the other person permission on that first date. And it shows them, you know what, if you want to be open with me too, if you want to have a deeper chat, we can do it.
I think that's a great part of building, when you are looking at a relationship with somebody, understanding them and their core. Really, this is taking you into their inner space, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you know what? You don't have to go right into the inner space straight away. Instead, you can take one little step towards it. So, of course, when you're talking about this on a date, start by sharing about something about yourself, and then take a moment to notice your date's reaction. You know, emotional intelligence is very attractive. And of course, you will see, are they lighting up? Is this a topic that's really resonating with them, or do they need a bit longer to warm up? If so, you can take a step back, talk about the storm, and get back onto that safer conversational territory.
But you're gauging their comfort levels, aren't you? But you're looking for those tells on their face that if there is something wrong here or they feel uncomfortable, you know when to take a step back.
Absolutely. And I think the point is, when you are vulnerable and you are able to be more authentic, you won't connect with everybody, but with the people that you are, I think, most compatible with, you can create it somehow can transform the conversation from something that's just like an everyday chit chat into something much more meaningful. And you never really know if that connection exists until someone's brave enough to take that step forwards.
But you also need to work out whether, as I said before, you are able to provide what they need here, or whether you're help to facilitate what they need based on what they're going through. And often people come to a new relationship having still got the tatters of an old one, whether it be the fact they're still trying to look after the kids, support them financially, or however that may actually work.
Yeah, and I think actually instead of trying to intuit somebody else's needs, it's also really good for both people on the date to be a bit clearer about what they want and need, because nobody comes with a user manual, and actually being able to express things, whether that's big things about stuff that's going on in your life, like, sharing childcare or financial responsibilities, questions about your mental health, or when you're talking openly as well, it could just be preferences that you have within the relationship. For instance, some people want to chat on Messenger every day, other people not so much. So by being open about what you really need to feel good and to feel secure, you stand your best chance of obviously finding those people who line up with you.
Yeah, you don't want to make sure that that ping is something that someone dreads, even though that you just want to be with them. But I mean, Match are working alongside Calm, aren't they, to help with this? And if somebody hasn't used Calm before, you're helping to make them an offer that I think with 50% off could be a real game changer when it comes to starting this new relationship.
Absolutely. So this is for new and existing Match users. You can get a really good discount on using Calm Premium, and the point behind this is it's really about single people taking care of their mental health on that quest for love.
And say that's what everyone's there for. They are looking for love, and they are looking to find someone who they can be themselves with. And I think that's the important part. Your emotional and mental baggage, it's not just a hold all for everything that's gone wrong in the past. It's actually part of what's formed you into that tenacious, brave person you are now.
I love that. That is a very, very good, I have to say, that is a very, very good reframe, a really good way of thinking about yourself as a person.
So where can we go to find out more about what Match are offering and how you can tie in with Calm to keep yourself on a chilled level when it comes to those new dates?
Very nice and easy. You can head over to match.com.
Simple as that. Check it all out. And of course, we can find you online too, can't we?
Absolutely. I'm very Googleable if you look up Hayley Quinn.
There we go. Check it out, and you'll be able to see how else you're working with Match across the board. Well, Hayley, always good to speak to you. Thank you for joining us, and let's hope there's lots of happy people out there, or at least on the road to happiness through that new love life.
Okay, amazing. Thank you very, very much for having me.
That's your lot for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Back with episode 815 next week. I'll see you then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.